We're headed on a paramotor adventure. I'm going to take you with me. Let's go to Utah.
Flight attendants, paracab for departure.
Traveling all night. I got to show you where we're at. All right, so I'm here with Brad. He just threw the most epic fly-in here in southern Utah. Tell me what's different about flying at 5,000 feet. What can you guys learn about flying right here?
So it really shows if your fundamentals are dialed or not. The guys that have good fundamentals, they've got good clean inflations, they get on the throttle quickly, they stay running, those guys have no problems at all. The guys that come from sea level that are used to having thicker air and a laminar breeze, they pull the glider up, it either doesn't make it all the way up or it makes it up and then they turn and stare at it. They're used to it hanging above them and waiting for it. Yep. They have to speed up that whole process. You got to get transitioned onto power very quickly. And so it takes several attempts before those sea level guys figure out that you can't linger. You got to get right on it and get after it. Be more aggressive with the launches.
There's a timing to it, and then do not sit in that seat. Give it another beat.
Run, 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 run. Sometimes you come back down, you need to have your feet ready for a couple more steps until you get your final lift. So.
And then you have epic scenery everywhere you go, but you also have national parks. So what's the rule when you get near them?
So national parks and wilderness areas and a lot of state parks are a 2,000 foot requested flight minimum. And so what that means is they really want you to be out of sight and out of mind. They don't want to hear you. And if there's areas that have a lot of tourism or roads or people or hikers, you need to be at 2,000 feet or above. They need to not be able to even see you or hear you. Now there's other places in the park that are very remote, and those are the places that we get a little closer to the cliffs and we have some fun. But you know, the rule is DBAD. If you're in any way inconveniencing or bothering somebody, right, you're affecting what they call the spirit of the wilderness, and you want to be respectful. The great part about paramotor is that we have a lot of freedom. There's not a lot of rules, and we want to maintain that by not bothering people. So we want to reduce the impact as much as possible. So you will see some footage of us flying some big cliffs and stuff. And what we're doing is we're in the really remote parts of the park where nobody's going to be, there's nobody to bother, and we get to enjoy ourselves. Anywhere there's people, hikers, tourism, we're really high, we're just enjoying the view, and we're staying out of the way.
Yeah, let's protect what we have, be good to our neighbors, and be able to do this again. I want to tell you thank you on behalf of myself and everyone else here. Incredible event. I like the seminars, I like the dialogue, the scenery, the people. I wouldn't have met all these people just staying on the East Coast, so thank you. Appreciate it. Seriously.
Yeah. It was a great time. Everybody's always welcome to these events, and the more the merrier. So thank you for coming.
For sure. I got Dmitri with me right here with Irish Paramotor, and you're doing something different with paramotors than other people are doing. Tell me a little bit about it.
When I made the decision to build paramotors, I wanted to come at it from like a true engineering perspective.
Yeah.
Designing everything for strength and doing something different. And a couple of different things we do is everything's in-house. So I think it's really important, like being a U.S. business, that somebody rolls the hoops in-house. I have a guy that's paid to do that. Somebody drills. I have a welder that comes in that welds. We have a powder coating station. We have, a CNC machine. So we do everything in-house, first of all. And I wanted to design a frame that has a really, really fun flying geometry that's playful. Because, I mean, after all, like, this is a fun sport. We're here to play around, and if you want to go ridge soaring on a paramotor, I wanted to do a machine that's kind of like a Swiss Army knife that does everything.
Yeah.
And so we have the Infinity, which has articulating swing arms, and you can get them in different configurations where it will behave more like a free flight harness if you want, or you can pull the swing arms in, get it nice and tight so it behaves more like a normal paramotor.
So you have a PG background as well as
Yeah.
PPG.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I do a lot of free flying. I did it like 2.5 years pretty much straight of paramotor thermally, and so for me it was important to have a paramotor that does that.
Beyond the motor, you also have other products. So you have a throttle.
Yep.
You have a quick release.
Yes. Yeah, and there's other products that are unreleased and I don't talk about much, but we're going to have eventually a speed bar that's really awesome. It's a bold statement, but throttles and speed bars on wings are like the manufacturer's afterthought. And I truly want it to be the best speed bar that is there. So, yeah.
So things for us to look forward to in the community. Appreciate everything you're doing to kind of advance these different products. Yeah, you got a vision, man. Appreciate
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
All right, we got Ripa in here taking a look. Look at John doing all the work.
I didn't want you to have to bend, that's all.
You know what, actually, if I could turn it towards the sun a little bit more. The two. Okay, so we're just gonna go about 5 minutes on our dial.
That's amazing.
We get you flying, Ben.
So beautiful here. That field feels so big from the ground, but it looks tiny. Been staring at these mountains for 2 days now. I'd love to get out there. I don't know if we'll get some rotor in that direction. Maybe we'll climb a little bit and see if we can get up above them. I'm at the Southern Utah Paramotor Gathering near Hurricane or Apple Valley, Utah. Brought my wing, my helmet, but wanted to see if someone would be good enough to lend a motor, and sure enough, Mike Cotter came through in the clutch. Super generous with his motor, and by the way, others too. There were several others that offered their motors up, which is fantastic. But I've been really taken with the beauty of this part of the country just from driving around, and so to see it from the air is going to be special.
So at this point of the flight, I am trying to climb over these mountains and avoid any rotor, and it feels like I've reached an altitude where I'm not climbing much anymore. Also, starting to get into that rotor a little bit, so I decide to turn off and head into the valley. Let's head back to the west a little bit. I haven't spent too much time in this part of the country, but I'm so impressed with the entire scene. A lot of outdoor enthusiasts spending their time in this area. Plenty of camping, national parks, hiking, motorsports, and more. This probably looks like a weird choice. A bunch of guys were laying out wings and getting ready to launch from the field. I figured I'd give them their space to launch and I would land just short of the field.
Guys, thanks for joining me on that flight. More to come.
When it's about half the cost of a wing or less, a lot of people will go for it.
So each day at least one seminar was set up. We talked about things like motor maintenance,
And what I do is it actually has to be
water landings and flotation, and on this day Air Toys was talking to us about wing repair. I got to meet in person so many people who I've connected with over the years. Sometimes people who have influenced my own journey, including Fly Guy Alberta. One of the highlights, of course, was meeting Chris Santa Croce, who always has this incredible perspective on the sport.
This is me and my wife. That's
yeah,
me.
all the places you go.
But really, everyone here has a story to tell, some interesting experiences and perspective, and I love getting to meet these guys.
All right, John, here we are in Utah. How'd you get here?
Well, I flew out here.
You did a commercial flight to Vegas, and then how far?
Then we took a 2-hour car ride to the town of Hurricane. It's very cold here, 41 degrees this morning. It was, my hands were frozen. I didn't fly, but I watched a lot of other guys fly.
Okay, so what did you notice on the field, and what can I take away when I have my first launch tonight?
So we're at 5,000 feet altitude approximately, and the air is very thin here. You are going to have to run a lot further before you get lift, and you're going to have to wait a lot longer than you're used to get off the ground. So just stick with it and you will get airborne.
All right, appreciate it. Hey, any trips coming up for you?
We got a couple in South Florida in the town of Okeechobee. It should be a couple of big fly-ins November and December.
Okay.
So those will be my next ones.
And then going into next year, anything planned?
So Point of the Mountain is on my bucket list. I'd like to get out there. It's probably going to be springtime. In January, I'm going out to Colombia with the guys I went with last year. That was a great trip. We did some free flying.
All right, so no motors, free flying in Colombia.
Correct.
All right, look forward to seeing it online.
All right, don't forget to check out my channel, Ripman Riding, at YouTube. See you guys. Peace.
All right, so I'm here with Mike Cotter. Mike, tell me the name of your school.
Fly My PPG.
Okay, so you're all the way in Michigan. What are you doing here in Utah?
So we drove my inaugural bus.
What are you talking, 20 hours to get here?
Oh, it was longer than that. It was probably 28 hours. We stopped in Paramotor City in Albuquerque. The Balloon Fest is going on. And so we caught a flight that morning.
Wow.
And then packed up and headed over to Monument Valley, where we stayed. Headed over to Page and saw Page, Horseshoe Bend. Unfortunately, there was some pretty turbulent weather going on at the time, so we weren't able to fly it. But from there, we made it over here to where we are now at Apple Valley, Utah. Now, John Ripa said it's cold. We all know John Ripa. John Ripa doesn't tell the whole story sometimes.
Yeah,
yes,
he's used to Florida.
It is a little chilly in the morning, that's true. But here's the deal. Everybody out here is in shorts and t-shirts.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be flying in 75-degree weather this evening. So
yeah. So this weekend, it's mostly 70s and 80s during the day, and then dips down at night. But it's
which is perfect.
Yeah, you get the fire going.
Yeah, you get the fire going. You know, cool nights for sleeping. So it's awesome.
All right. So let me ask you this: any big trips planned coming months or next year?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of on a hiatus from the school. So you asked me, why am I here? So the training in Michigan, becomes a little bit of a challenge just from the temperature standpoint.
Sure.
And we respect the hunters and close up shop at the end of September. And then October is usually, this is my annual trip out west, and head over to Glamis. We're going to do some flying there, and then we're going to come back. I'd like to see, I've never been to Salton Sea, so we're going to see Salton Sea, and then go over and fly Sedona a little bit.
Wow. Yeah, so for a lot of guys, this is the bucket list to get out to Utah, see this beauty. You get a few coming up in the next month. So.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Man.
well, hope to see you in East Coast.
Thanks, Ben.
Man, look at all the wings. Saturday morning here at Southern Utah Fly-In. The wind was really still on the ground. It started switching directions, but you know, I just took my time with my layout, made sure everything was really deliberate and got up perfectly. I can see the field's getting really busy now, so I'm glad to kind of be up and out of there on my way. Because the wind is coming from the west at the moment, I'm gonna see if I can get a little bit closer to this mountain here. without feeling too much rotor. It's been an incredible time, guys. Got to meet a ton of new people out here. I'm so used to the fly-ins on the East Coast, and it's great to see some of these guys from Texas, Utah, California, and even the Pacific Northwest come down basically everywhere. A little bit of nasty air right there. Keep going for a moment, and if we hate it, we'll turn around. Got to do a nice hike yesterday. I think we'll do another one or two today. That's fun. A lot of good meals. Got to eat out with the guys from Austin, Texas last night. And I'm impressed by that crew. They got 11 guys to come out here and fly. So I don't know who else can bring 11 guys to an event like this, but that is fun to travel with your local flying crowd. Not just southern Utah and this fly-in, but also they traveled and flew a number of places, including Moab, I think Valley of the Gods, if I'm saying that right. See, all these guys are lined up how I launch now, pointing back toward the east. That one's small, but
It's tiny. That's a tiny.
So I wanted to include some videos of launches and landings that I saw here at the fly-in. Just some of the common sights that you'll observe at any fly-in. There's a lot of talk about launches. In fact, my friend John Ripa made a few videos with hundreds of launches and landings here at this fly-in. He does it at most fly-ins he attends, and he includes the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think it's a huge learning tool. A lot of times people bring their technique and the rhythm of a launch that they're used to at home, and over the course of the first couple flights here, they start to make adjustments. You have a new field, you have different conditions, maybe different altitude, wind, obstacles. You have the excitement that goes along with the fly-in, perhaps some nerves with all the onlookers and observers, and all these factors may conspire to make some difficult launches at first. But over the course of the weekend, people settle in, they become familiar, they make adjustments, and in fact, you grow closer as a community. You really spent time with each other, talked, had meals together, and you're wishing success for everyone. You want to see them have a great time, get in the air, and enjoy some of these incredible flights. We want to say that everybody is struggling with altitude. It's not always that simple. We see a number of issues going on. And you know, the conditions change even over the course of the day. An hour and a half before sunset, you might have very strong conditions, and they go down to almost nil wind just 30 minutes before sunset. So we may see someone with a strong wind and they're charging ahead to bring the wing up on launch and having it overshoot. They may have been able to just walk forward and have that wing inflate. Later in the day, when the wind is light, guys are not driving hard enough to bring the wing up. As Santa Croce said, some people just need to let their trimmers out a little bit more or even halfway to get that wing to fly and up and overhead. So there's a number of different issues, but definitely some recurring themes that we're seeing over and over again. I don't think launching struggles are unique to this fly-in. We see them all over the place. There are too many issues to fit neatly into one box, but we could say that there are some overarching themes. We need to continue to be students. We need to observe the conditions. We need to be thoughtful about what we're going to do on our launch, given the time of day and the conditions. Saw many people lay out their wings and have the wind shift 90 degrees, and they didn't make that adjustment. So be humble, be a student, listen to the local guys for expertise, be observant, and be willing to make adjustments.
I'm concertina packing it. I'm pulling all the cells together.
Gotcha. Wow, it's a beautiful scene. So many gliders in the air. Like a boss.
You did? I don't remember if you did.
Alright guys, I'm going to leave you with these final clips. Do me a favor, if you like this content, drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you liked. Did you like the short form interviews? Did you like the launches and landings? Something else? Also, if you are in any of these video clips and you want me to send you the video, just drop me a note on social media or send me an email, paramotornc@gmail.com, and I can email you that video clip.
Nice to get some landings.
The entire flying has surpassed expectations, guys. Came out here without a motor, had the chance to get up in the air a couple times already. And people have been super generous, offering me wings, motors, other flying gear. But it's been incredible. Last couple days I've had good weather, and we got to meet a ton of people out here. If you've never made it out to Utah, it's definitely worth the trip. And hope you guys get a chance to come out here sometime.